With the WINN FM News, I am Kevin Brown. Our top stories. St. Kitts and Nevis launches a semi-airborne drone survey to bolster national water security. Extradition Bill 2025, a historic reform for St. Kitts and Nevis' justice system. Charlestown Nevis named first PAHO WHOH-friendly city in the Eastern Caribbean. Grenada Postal Cooperation workers protest unsafe working conditions. St. Lucia Tourism Minister addresses alleged industrial action by construction workers. Internationally, Israeli forces raid West Bank exchange shops, kill 1 Palestinian, wound 30 in Nablus assault. Now, the details. In a significant step towards enhancing water security, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis has initiated a comprehensive semi-airborne geophysical drone survey across multiple communities on the island of St. Kitts. The project, managed by the St. Kitts Water Services Department, commenced on Thursday, May 22, 2025, and is progressing in a counterclockwise pattern around the island. Leveraging cutting-edge technology from Bear Rock Consulting Inc., the initiative combines low-flying drones equipped with advanced geophysical instruments and strategically placed ground-based electrodes. The dual approach is designed to collect detailed subsurface data crucial for locating hidden aquifers and pinpointing optimal drilling sites for new groundwater wells, particularly in areas extending beyond Bastille. The launch of this survey aligns with the government's extensive strategy to address ongoing water supply challenges. It complements other key projects such as the construction of a robust 2 million gallon per day desalination plant in Bastille and the commissioning of the Keon well, which already contributes substantially to meeting the water needs of nearby communities. Public cooperation remains essential to the success of this initiative. Authorities have requested residents and visitors to respect safety measures by avoiding zones marked for high voltage electrical equipment, which are integral to the survey process. Officials emphasized that community support will be pivotal in ensuring the seamless execution of this crucial national endeavor aimed at securing a sustainable water future. Speaking on the project, the Honorable Conrad Maynard, Minister of Water, Infrastructure and Related Portfolios, remarked,
"We're excited that this is going to lead to development of wells. As you would know, we have significant challenges with our source for water. Most of our rainwater does not run off, so we can't capture it like that. Most of it goes into the ground, into these aquifers, and that's the importance of today, where we're going to be sending up this piece of equipment to help identify where those aquifers are."
Minister Maynard's comments underscore the urgent need for innovative solutions to overcome the island's water sourcing difficulties, many of which are intensified by climate variabilities and limited surface water availability. The project not only promises to uncover previously untapped groundwater reserves, but also represents a proactive investment in climate resilience and resource sustainability. As the semi-airborne survey advances, the government reaffirms its commitment to implementing integrated water resource management solutions by strengthening capacities through scientific data acquisition and modern technologies. St. Kitts and Nevis is poised to usher in a new era of reliable and secure water supply for its citizens and future generations. In a recent sitting of the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis, a historic moment was seen in the Federation's justice system with the successful passage of the Extradition Bill 2025. The bill, spearheaded by Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, the Honorable Garth Wilkin, represents a significant modernization of the country's extradition laws, replacing the antiquated framework dating back to 1946. The Attorney General opened the debate, emphasizing the critical need for the reform.
This bill is a major step forward in modernizing our justice system and protecting the good name of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to repeat that, Madam Deputy Speaker. It is a major step forward in modernizing our justice system and protecting the good name of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Explaining the relevance of the bill, Wilkin underscored the outdated nature of the old legislation.
Our current extradition law is outdated. It was written in 1946 when we were still under colonial rule. It is only 2 sections long, and it leans heavily on laws from the United Kingdom, specifically referencing 2 such laws which are over 150 years old. It offers no proper guidance to our police, our courts, or even our government. It does not reflect the world we live in today in 2025. A world where crime often crosses borders and where cooperation with other countries is essential.
Of particular concern was the continued subjection to UK laws under the old framework, which the Attorney General deemed unacceptable for a sovereign nation.
And, Madam Deputy Speaker, most importantly, the original Extradition Act subjected us to laws passed in the UK Parliament, not ours. In other words, if the UK Parliament debated a change to the extradition laws on April 12, 2025, those changes would apply in independent St. Kitts and Nevis. We can't have that, Madam Speaker. We can't be subjected to UK laws at this day and age in our 42 years into independence. It is an opportunity for us to fix that colonial incomprehension.
Wilkin outlined the fundamental purpose of extradition, making clear its role in maintaining justice and public safety across borders.
It is the legal process through which one country formally requests the return of a person who is either accused of committing a serious crime or has already been convicted of a crime in that country and who is now present in another country. It is a critical tool for ensuring that individuals cannot evade justice simply by crossing a border. Extradition protects public safety by making sure that serious offenders such as murderers, traffickers, fraudsters, and terrorists are held accountable wherever they may try to hide.
He provided a practical example to highlight the process.
Imagine someone commits a serious offense in country A and escapes to country B. Country A can then formally ask country B to return that person so they can either stand trial or serve a prison sentence. If both countries have an agreement, or if the laws of country B allow for it, and if certain legal safeguards are in place to protect the person's rights, then the extradition can go ahead.
Importantly, the bill distinguishes that extradition applies primarily to serious crimes and the process is subject to legal safeguards.
It is to be noted that extradition usually applies to serious crimes such as murder, drug trafficking, and large-scale fraud. However, the process is not automatic. Each request is reviewed carefully by the government and the courts to ensure it meets legal requirements. There are also important protections built into the process. For example, a person cannot be extradited if the request is on the basis of political views, race, or other discriminatory reasons.
The Attorney General proceeded to dissect the bill's structure, clarifying the relationship with regional and international partners.
Part 1 tells us that the bill applies to people who are accused of or convicted of serious crimes in other countries. It explains that if someone commits a serious offense overseas, like fraud, drug trafficking, human trafficking, or murder, and tries to hide in St. Kitts or Nevis, they can be sent back to face justice in that other country. It also makes clear that if a petition or division is wrongly accused abroad, they are entitled to fair process and legal protections before any decision on extradition is made.
Part 2 strengthens regional cooperation with other CARICOM countries.
This part explains how we handle extradition requests from our neighbors in CARICOM. Under the CARICOM Arrest Warrant Treaty, we already agreed to make it easier to send criminals back and forth between member countries. This bill makes that work smoothly within our local laws. So if someone commits a serious crime in Grenada or St. Lucia and hides here, or vice versa, we now have a clear path to return them.
Part 3 addresses extradition to Commonwealth nations.
The bill deals with Commonwealth countries like Canada, the UK, and Australia. This section allows us to respond to extradition requests from those countries if we have a treaty or arrangement in place. It also ensures that anyone being returned has committed an offense that would be considered serious here. Anybody being returned has committed an offense that would be considered serious here at home as well. So, for example, Madam Speaker, let's use a wild example. If in country B, it was a serious offense to pull the tail of a donkey, in St. Kitts, that would not be considered a serious offense. So if a St. Kitts Nevis national in that country B pulled the tail of a donkey and has either been charged or is threatened to be charged and they've returned to St. Kitts and Nevis, what this law does, it says it must be a serious offense here as well. And therefore, the authorities here, the court here, could decide that pulling the tail of a donkey in country B is not serious enough to then extradite that person back to another Commonwealth country.
In Part 4, the bill expands cooperation with other foreign nations.
This is where we cover countries like the US, Taiwan, or any other place we've signed a treaty with. The Minister of Justice has the power to officially recognize countries for extradition purposes, and any person wanted in those countries for serious crimes like terrorism, financial crimes, or trafficking can be considered for return. I want to point out we do have extradition treaties with the United States and with Taiwan, and we are in discussions to enter into extradition treaties with other countries.
Finally, Part 5 articulates the extradition procedure.
1. A foreign country sends a formal request to our Minister of Justice. 2. If everything is in order, the Minister gives the go-ahead. 3. The police can arrest the person even on a provisional basis if time is short. 4. The person must be brought before a magistrate within 48 hours. 5. The magistrate checks if there is enough evidence and whether the person should be committed for extradition. 6. If the person agrees to, they can consent right away. If not, they can appeal. 7. After the court's review, the minister decides whether to issue the final order for extradition. And naturally, that decision will be made in cabinet. Throughout this process, the person under threat of extradition has the right to a lawyer, to appeal, and to be treated fairly.
Regarding protections against extradition, the Attorney General was clear.
Now, the people of this country may ask, and you may ask, Madam Deputy Speaker, what stops someone from being extradited? A person cannot be extradited under this legislation if the offense is political, not criminal, if they are targeted because of their race, religion, nationality, or political views, if they wouldn't get a fair trial in that other country, if they've already been tried for the same offense, and if the person is a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the minister decides not to extradite them. But naturally, the minister must have good reason, as any public official must have good reason to take certain decisions.
Wilkin highlighted several other key provisions designed to protect due process and ensure smooth cooperation with foreign jurisdictions.
The bill makes it clear and easier for courts to accept properly certified foreign documents like arrest warrants and convictions. If someone is arrested with stolen property or evidence, it can be handed over to the other country. If someone isn't extradited within a set time, they can apply to be released. People passing through our country while being extradited elsewhere can be held temporarily. If someone is returned to St. Kitts and Nevis, they can only be prosecuted for the crime they were returned for unless special permission is given. If a person agrees to be extradited quickly, or if a trusted country makes a straightforward request, the bill allows for a simplified process to speed things up, while still ensuring basic rights are respected.
In closing, the Honourable Wilkin reflected on the broader impacts of this legislative milestone.
It's not a long bill, but it is very important because it sets out the entire extradition framework in clear, modern language. It is a bill that, 1, protects our borders, 2, protects our people, and 3, protects our reputation. If we want to be known as a sustainable island state, one that is modern, fair, and globally respected, then we must have strong, clear laws that allow us to work with our partners around the world. This bill also helps us to fight transnational crime, keep our CBI program clean from abuse, show the world that we are a reliable partner in justice and security, protect our society from those who try to use our country as a safe haven for crime. The Extradition Bill 2025, Madam Deputy Speaker, is legally necessary, morally right, and internationally responsible. It is fair, balanced, and long overdue.
Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, the Honourable Garth Wilkin. Charlestown Nevis has earned a remarkable distinction as the first PAHO WHO age-friendly city in the Eastern Caribbean, marking a historic moment for the island and the region. This significant recognition highlights Nevis's commitment to fostering a community where all generations can prosper. The Honorable Janelle Nisbet, Minister of Health, Gender Affairs and Social Development in the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, shared her pride in this achievement through a recently released video message. Her words captured the spirit behind the milestone and the broader vision it represents.
Welcome to Nevis, a place where every generation thrives. And now we are making history as the first PAHO WHO age-friendly city in the Eastern Caribbean.
Here, aging is not just about getting older. It's about growing stronger, more engaged, and knowing that every stage of life is a reason to celebrate and be celebrated.
Vibrant, connected, I'm thriving.
This is what an age-friendly city looks like. This isn't just a title.
It's a movement.
The accolade aligns Nevis with a global network promoted by the Pan American Health Organization and the World Health Organization that encourages cities to optimize opportunities for active aging by enhancing health participation and security for older residents. Being recognized as an age-friendly city means that Charlestown is taking deliberate steps to adapt its services, infrastructure, and community programs to be more inclusive and supportive of its aging population. The designation arrives at a crucial time as the Caribbean region faces demographic shifts, including an increasing number of older adults. Nevis's proactive approach reflects local leadership's understanding of the value and contributions of senior citizens, emphasizing respect, inclusion, and dignity. Under the stewardship of Minister Nisbet and the Nevis Island Administration, multiple initiatives have been implemented to support seniors and promote intergenerational engagement. Programs like the Senior Citizens Recreational Program offer a range of activities to keep the elderly active and socially connected, a testament to the island's dedication to the well-being of its older residents. The recognition of Charlestown as the first PAHO WHO age-friendly city in the Eastern Caribbean stands as a beacon of progressive social policy for the rest of the region. It reaffirms Nevis's reputation as a community that honors its history and heritage while embracing innovation and inclusivity. As the island celebrates this milestone, residents and officials alike are encouraged to view it not merely as an accolade, but as a call to action, a movement to continuously foster environments where citizens of all ages can thrive in health, happiness, and harmony. In regional news, Grenada Postal Cooperation workers protest unsafe working conditions, Grenada Broadcasting Network reports.
It's all tools down for workers at the Grenada Postal Corporation as employees at the Burns Point facility in St. George refuse to enter the building due to what they describe as hazardous and deteriorating working conditions. Approximately 30 staff members stood outside their workplace Monday morning wearing red ribbons. They have cited an infestation of mold, termites, and other long-standing health and safety concerns plaguing the building.
The building is moldy. It is also, when you enter the building, it's sort of a stuffy because of the air quality. It is not good. It's not good enough air quality. And we were promised that we would have moved a long time ago, but it is not forthcoming, and we were promised again to be moved. But we are just trying to stake our claim today that we mean business. We want to move because persons are getting sick. Persons are getting sick with respiratory illnesses. Persons are getting sick with itching and watery eyes. The inside of the building, the roof is leaking. Ceilings are coming down. There are termites dropping everywhere, and we kind of just get fed up with that situation.
Everybody experiencing a lot of different stuff here, because for like me, at my desk we have termite droppings, termites, and sometimes when the rain comes, it falls, it wets us, and if you have to use the washroom, the face basin have no water. At present, the face basin have no water, and every now and then the bathroom flood, and then the water inside is like toilet water coming from under, you understand? And that things we have to go through. I'll be going through that for a while. Like I said before, I'm saying the management is bad, but it's time for them to step up and take interest in the workers as well, because if workers get sick, there will be nothing going on here.
Newly elected first vice president of the Public Workers Union, which represented the workers, Lyndon Ferrer, told GBN News the situation has existed since during the COVID-19 pandemic. In early May, the union sent an official letter asking that, as a show of good faith, at least the administrative staff be relocated by May 23rd. Unfortunately, that request was not met.
It is unfair to the workers to have to be working in this condition. And as the Labour Code states, the workers have a right to remove themselves under Section 74(2)(e), which they did. We have had consultations with the GPC. We were hoping that this situation would not have escalated to this. However, we're still waiting on the GPC to give us some concrete evidence to show that they really, really care about the health and safety of these workers behind me. Because remember, the workers come here every day to give up their time and their expertise to GPC for 8 hours. It is unfair to them to have them working under these conditions and for so long. And we think that it is incumbent on the Grenada Postal Corporation to ensure that this issue is addressed expeditiously.
Faris says the working condition at the GPC building at Buns Point pose a serious risk to both employees and customers' health and must no longer be brushed aside.
We have been waiting on them. We gave them certain commitment as it relates to even using our building there. And we're still waiting. Again, I must say, yes, I would have inspected the proposed site. I had a long chat with Mr. Robinson and also Brother Adrian Francis. They are optimistic that very soon the workers would be posted there. But in the meantime, we cannot have the workers waiting for the building to be completed and then still being affected health-wise, right? So we ask the GPC hierarchy to address this and address it now, because the workers will not be going back inside under these conditions.
The GBN News team reached out to the general manager of the Grenada Postal Corporation, Randall Robinson, for a response. Robinson, who is off island, indicated, and I quote, "I have been briefed by the acting accountant, who is managing in my absence, that the management team, along with some staff members and trainees, are engaged in serving the public as best they can in the circumstances. We therefore appeal to the public to bear with us as we work to have this matter resolved in the shortest possible time." Unquote. Rena P. Thomas, GBN News.
St. Lucia Tourism Minister addresses alleged industrial action by construction workers. HTS News Force has the details.
Construction workers on the Isla Resort project have expressed frustration over an alleged reduction in their wages. Initially hired at a daily rate of $180, workers claim they are now being offered $100 with what they claim to be a take it or leave it stance from management.
You cannot expect for a tradesman element to leave their home, Soufre, Miku, and come here and come and work for $100. Your transportation, your food, $100 a day. It's total blatant disrespect for St. Lucians, man.
So it wasn't so before?
It wasn't so before, but it's 7 months ago we signed a contract for $180. We have a contract signed, bridge of contract.
According to one worker, over 35 men directly employed by the company are now reportedly facing this unexpected revision of their wages.
As of right now, if he's not willing to pay the 180 or compromise with you guys, what are you willing to do?
We're not working. We're not hungry. No, we will not make ourselves that. We are St. Lucians, we will not make ourselves that. You think we will come there and work so hard, leave our home down Soufre, Vieux-Fort, and come and work here for $100? How you paying your rent? How you feeding your children? How you send them to school? That is nonsense. I cannot tolerate that. I can't see that happen. And not even the Minister of Investment, not even the Minister of Works, that will come there and say, okay, hey guys, we will be in solidarity with you all, we'll stand with you all, we'll talk. Nobody are coming there. We have called the Labour Department and none of them are coming to see and to look after the workers.
The workers were united in their stance, all expressing disappointment over what they see as an unfair and unjust situation.
Everything jack up. And then from $180 to $100, I think that's not good. Trust me. That's not good. And whoever that behind that, it's not fair.
So you'll have to put on your tools?
Yeah, well, I'm not working again. My tools I come for today.
Today we come there. At least the white man can come out there and say, okay, guys, if y'all cannot work for $100, I will give you all $150. I will give you all $160. I cannot pay $180. That will be right. Nobody will walk away from the job. But he refused to do that. Like we are dogs, we are animals, and he don't care with us. That's what he said to us. Take it or leave it.
Our news crew also spoke with a representative from the ILA team regarding the concerns and grievances raised by the construction workers.
We don't want to create an unnecessary problem when there is not. The office is always open. If any worker have a grievance, he comes to the office, we rectify it for him.
The issue was also raised with Tourism and Investment Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire during the pre-cabinet press briefing on Monday morning.
When you do come to state your employment, you are required to state what your skills are. So persons registered as masons, carpenters, different levels of specialization, and they will pay the rate in accordance with what they registered as. As the project developed and construction continued, they realized that some people really don't have the skills that they claim to be. So if you say you're a tradesman and you're a mason and they pay you $180 a day, and they realize for the last, whatever the period of time, you really don't have that skill set. So there was a review of the skill sets and the different persons and an adjustment.
Dr. Hilaire explained that following a pay adjustment to better reflect workers' skill levels, individuals were offered the opportunity to join a training program aimed at upskilling them and qualifying for higher wages. He was also questioned about allegations of international labor being brought in for the project.
I'm going to monitor it and just make sure that there are no untold issues happening there.
The workers are also claiming that they've been pushed out to be replaced with I think about 300 Indian workers upon it.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Because I said it according to what you would have said, and also the developer that again to push the work.
Yeah, I mean, the Indian workers, I know that they mention as specialized people because they're now going into the final stages of setting up the wellness center, which requires specialized work in terms of setting it up, the furnitures, the fittings, the equipment, whatnot. They require specialist workers that can do certain things. And I know they made a request for some workers, not many. I think it is in the teens, I can't remember the exact amount, but not many, that they will need specialist people to come in to set up that, because we don't have those competencies in St. Lucia. But this thing about, I don't know nothing about it. And that would not be allowed. I don't even know how that can even happen.
The sudden change has left many of the workers feeling undervalued and uncertain about their continued employment on the site.
We now bring you these international reports.
In Lebanon, a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah is still holding, despite mutual accusations of breaches. The deal came into force in November and included the deployment of thousands of troops from the Lebanese National Army to areas in the south that were once virtually controlled by the militant group. Those soldiers are helped by forces from the UN peacekeeping force known as UNIFIL, which operates primarily in southern Lebanon between the Litani River and the border's Blue Line. They are now discovering and dismantling positions that we use to carry out attacks against Israel. We've been given rare access to an operation by French troops near the border with Israel. Here's Hugo Bottega.
In the hills of southern Lebanon, French troops are on a mission. Part of the UN peacekeeping force in the country, they are searching for positions that were being used by Hezbollah, which for decades was the dominant power here.
So we are in a valley here in southern Lebanon, and I can see there are lots of positions that have been left abandoned, and presumably this was a position that was being used by Hezbollah.
Yes, it was a living area here,
and a bit further it's striking or firing position.
So people were staying here,
yes,
and they would go to a position to fire a rocket?
Yes, exactly.
How far are we from the Israeli border?
Here we are 2 or 3 kilometers from the Israeli border. Here is a little cache for Hezbollah, a living area for them.
Yes, I can see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds. There's also a fridge here. It looks like a very permanent facility.
From places like this, Hezbollah carried out attacks against Israel. The ceasefire has meant that its fighters were forced to pull out from these areas. We also find abandoned multiple rocket launchers next to pipes for water distribution and cables for electricity and communication.
They had maybe some years to set these camps and these weapons, these launchers, and it is really sophisticated.
So before the ceasefire and before the war, it would have been almost impossible for UNIFIL or even the Lebanese army to come to these places because of the presence that Hezbollah had here, right?
Yes.
And you haven't encountered so far any Hezbollah fighter?
No, never. But I don't think there is many Hezbollah members right now in the area of operation. So here is a truck with a rocket launcher set up on it, which has been destroyed. And here we can see it's maybe by an airstrike, because you can see the trees are all burnt.
We've been here for more than an hour now, and
yes,
there's been the constant sound of the Israeli drone flying overhead.
Every time, night and day.
Every time, night and day.
Yeah.
The UN says the drone infiltrations and Israel's constant airstrikes on targets it says are linked to Hezbollah are in breach of the ceasefire.
For the moment, the main violations, frankly, that we're seeing are from the Israeli side. We have Israeli soldiers present in Lebanese territory. They've maintained a number of permanent-looking positions.
How would you describe the work of the Lebanese military?
The Lebanese army is doing a great job. They have redeployed, they're active, they have been consistently working with peacekeepers, working to restore stability. I think the Lebanese army understands that right now, for the people, this is the most important thing.
Just outside the French base, we spot Hezbollah flags. The group has been weakened by Israel and is under growing pressure to disarm. Its future is uncertain, but its presence is still felt here and across Lebanon. Hugo Bashega, BBC News, Southern Lebanon.
The moment when 32-year-old Mahmoud al-Kharraz was injured in Nablus, in the north of the occupied West Bank. Mahmoud succumbed to his wounds soon after. Mahmoud's death happened during a large-scale raid across the occupied West Bank, targeting at least 8 city centers. Israeli soldiers used live ammunition, tear gas, and rubber-coated steel bullets, causing dozens of injuries. Their focus, money exchange shops. Soldiers arrested workers in these shops in the center, south, and north of the occupied West Bank. They put up posters warning Palestinians that these shops are against the law before confiscating cash and equipment. The Israeli military accuses them of funneling money for what they call terror activities. Business owners say Israeli authorities never provided evidence for these allegations.
This is yet another way the Israeli government targets the Palestinian economy in the West Bank. The goal is driving business people out of their jobs. We're not dealing with a government that respects international law.
Palestinian towns that were spared from the Israeli raids were targeted by settler violence. Attacking farmers in Al Mghayr village near Ramallah, burning wheat fields, assaulting Palestinians, including journalists. Photojournalist Isam Rimawi was documenting the attack when he was beaten up. His colleague witnessed the violence.
When the Israeli army showed up, the settlers felt more emboldened and intensified their attack. Assam was alone as settlers started beating him with rods, particularly on his head. They beat him heavily. It was clear that he's a journalist doing his job, but we know that journalists are attacked as well.
Palestinians say Israeli settler violence is part of a system meant to push Palestinians out of their lands. Journalists documenting the attacks have also become a target. Nida Ibrahim, Al Jazeera.
You were listening to the WINN FM 98.9 newscast. Our top stories were: St. Kitts and Nevis launches a semi-airborne drone survey to bolster national water security. Extradition Bill 2025, a historic reform for St. Kitts and Nevis' justice system. Charlestown Nevis named first PAHO WHOH-friendly city in the Eastern Caribbean. Grenada Postal Cooperation workers protest unsafe working conditions. St. Lucia Tourism Minister addresses alleged industrial action by construction workers. Internationally, Israeli forces raid West Bank exchange shops, kill 1 Palestinian, wound 30 in Nablus assault. Thank you for listening.